What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and this is my show, Uncut Astrology, where I take off the mask and go deep behind the veil and give you this week's astrological forecast for the week of August 31st through September 6th of 2016. Rabbit, everyone. Remember, you say that on September 1st. And by the way, this is a very special Uncut. That's because there is so many rare aspects happening this week in the astrology. This is one of the most intense weeks of the year. Now, if you watch my Uncut or if you're new to it, I only said that I only give 1 out of 3 weeks of the year that are the most intense. I would say that this week is one of them. I'm still unsure whether this is going to be second place or first place, but put it this way, this is one of the most intense weeks of the year. And did you know if you share this video, I pick one winner a week. If you share it on my Facebook, I actually will send you snail mail where I actually do a reading and write it on the back and send it to you at your address. So you can win a free reading from me by sharing this video. You can watch me every day on my actual app where I go daily horoscopes, sun sign horoscopes, daily notifications via text. It is the most awesome astrology app you've ever seen. Please check it out at the Apple or Android stores or the leokingapp.com. And next week is my show, Hope in the Desert, which is going to be out in Las Vegas, where I'm meeting people from all over the country and the world. You can still buy tickets, 1-day tickets available, 3-day tickets. I also made Friday tickets available for the Astrology Mixer and Show at the Sayers Club at the SLS Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. So make sure you buy your tickets now at leokingevents.com. I'll be out there in Vegas all next week, or you can watch it via pay-per-view. Now let's get into the astrology now. And I'm coming with a serious demeanor and tone. I hope that I find some sort of jokes. Usually I do through all these uncuts, but the energy is serious. Mercury has gone retrograde in its natural sign of Virgo, and that is already in the middle. It happened during a dark phase of the moon before a solar eclipse. Not an easy Mercury retrograde to deal with, not one that is fun, not one that is exciting. Also, you got to remember that sometimes the stimulation of Virgo isn't as stimulating as it is in Gemini, right? Both Gemini and Virgo both rule Mercury. You know, Gemini is much more exciting and let's go be childish and fun. You know, Virgo is much more mature, much more let's get the work done. And there's a seriousness about Virgo. It really is all about doing the right thing, doing the pure thing, doing the work. And this is a time where it could feel like we are overwhelmed. That's because we have a solar eclipse this week happening in Virgo, which squares Saturn, which opposes Neptune. Saturn, which is in Sagittarius, trying to find hope, trying to find positivity, and trying to stay hopeful in the middle of an overbearing amount of energy that is on your plate. Virgo is the reality. It is your day-to-day life. It is your schedule. And when you have the planet Jupiter at the last degrees of it this week, it's overwhelming. We might feel overwhelmed. The other aspect of this solar eclipse and this Mercury retrograde happening in Virgo is the Neptune opposition and all this energy in Neptune, South Node, Chiron. The feeling like I just don't know if I can do it. The feeling of hopelessness. The feeling of maybe I should just escape. Maybe I should just burn it all down. Maybe I should just let it all go. Maybe I should just go to Chris Brown's house and just, go look at his jewelry and have a gun pointed at my head. I mean, it's like, literally, it's like, why do we feel that we just want to let all this go, even though this is such a great time to harvest and manifest and create and really build and heal? Because I think that there is so much healing energy in this week. We're not even aware of it. We're in the middle of the healing. We're in the middle of the scabbing process. The darkness is over. The Mars retrograde in Scorpio, the Saturn in Scorpio that happened all over the last 4 years of your life, the darkness is over. So don't be fearful of this eclipse, even though eclipses have always been one to scare even the ancients to death. Literally, people died when they saw a solar eclipse because it was such a powerful thing. Now, for people in America, we're not going to see it. We're going to be asleep. So, by the way, I'm doing a live solar eclipse ceremony that's free on my Facebook and my website, spiritualdancemusic.com, where I pull cards, talk about the astrology, and do a live mix with live chat room. We all do a ceremony together. I recommend that you join me. It's going to be Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. But Just to cover this eclipse and this Mercury retrograde will also go over Jupiter this week, which means as Mercury's going backwards, Jupiter's going forward at full speed. This is interesting. This means that our understanding as far as factual, trying to figure life out, is not very positive and very well. And here's Jupiter going, we need to observe, we need to look, we need to maybe adventure, maybe we need to kind of go with something in our life to seek it. You know, this is a time where we want to figure things out and maybe try to destroy something, or maybe try to make a big decision that's going to impact our lives. And we need to be careful about how we make those decisions. But at the same time, you know, picking, I think, the more, I hate to say it, more mundane, the right thing to do is what we need to do right now. Opposed to going towards where we think there's going to be more fantasy, or we think it's going to be more electric, or we think it's going to be much more crazy and edgy or wild. This energy could pull us into a place we really don't want to go. It's kind of like a vertex vacuum or black hole. And the test really is, are you going to seduce your own self into going back into old past life / even this life patterns that always didn't work out? Like, are you trying to run back to that place? Or are you going to sit through this storm and go, you know what, I'm going to go through this storm differently this time. I'm going to do the right thing. Because the Sun square Saturn really is all about learning to do the right thing. We don't want to do the work. You got to remember, this solar eclipse is coming up in Virgo, with Jupiter in Virgo, with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, with the North Node in Virgo. The last thing we want to do when we're feeling this overwhelmed with having to deal with maybe a health issue, or maybe dealing with a work issue, or maybe just dealing with just an overall, just an overabundance of little knick-knack things that are happening, and changes and conversations and emails, and it's just all too much. With Saturn and Sagittarius, we just want to go run on a horse and play and go have fun and go be positive and go drink some beer or something, you know, it's Sagittarius, you know, and go grow a long beard or something, you know. But, you know, it's like we can't access that right now, because the lesson is to do the right thing. The lesson is to look at our beliefs and make sure that they're in alignment with doing the right thing, with doing the just thing, with doing something that won't pull us into no man's land, I like to call it, or back to a place that we've been to before, the past. But really move forward into a present, that will create a great future. So this is a time that you are faced to deal with the present instead of run away. This is a time where you're learning, instead of running away, learning to find compassion. You know, but just before I did this Uncut, I was like, I need to go lay down in my bed, and I have a vibrating adjustable bed. And believe it or not, that thing, and that's very Pisces, right? Neptune, Pisces, dream. I was like, I'm gonna go just take 5 minutes, relax. And, you know, 20 minutes before this, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do the Uncut. I was like ready not to do it. I felt like crap. Here I am doing it. And I have a webinar to do in 50 minutes, believe it or not, right after this, and I gotta go finish that. But taking little breaks, taking little moments are okay, and learning to have compassion for yourself through this time. Like, shit's gonna go what we don't expect. And I've been saying this in a lot of videos. The reason why, when you have all this mutable energy, when you have a Mercury retrograde and mutable sign in its natural home, we just don't know where it's all gonna go. With Neptune involved, there's too much fog. The sun's gonna oppose Neptune. We're gonna have to learn that we're looking straight into our subconscious reflections. We're looking straight into our subconscious patterns. We're looking straight into the past. We're looking straight into where we could lose ourselves. And so we have to keep that, what I've called it, the rope tethered to the tree, and kind of go through this. It's almost like if you ever watched the first Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and at the very end of the movie, he literally, you have to close your eyes because you can't see when he opens up the Holy Grail, or the chest that holds, you know, God, basically. You know, and it's like, there's a part of us that through this crazy moment and this magical moment, it's not that we want to keep our eyes closed, but open to not allowing ourselves to fall in a position to where our eyes are closed. That might sound so hard to grasp. So I'm gonna like break this down real quick. Are you going to just close your eyes in an unconscious way through this week and just not want to do the work, run away from your responsibilities, run away from all the greatness, the abundance that you're trying to harvest in your life? Or are you going to, and do that kind of with your eyes closed and be like, nah, I don't hear it, I don't see it, I don't feel it, and kind of do the monkey thing, right? Remember those monkeys? They're really good emojis, I use them all the time. But are you going to go back to that this week? Or are you this week, it's hear no evil, see no evil, and speak no evil? Or are you going to actually do the Virgo thing and keep your eyes open and be hyper aware and look straight into this light and look straight into this past and look straight into your own subconscious issues that hold you back, that put you back into prison, that put you into hospitals, that put you into emotional things and purgatory? Or are you to look it straight in the eye and go, I see through you. I see through this. I'm not going to go through there. I got my rope tangled to the tree and I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to push through my patterns. I'm going to push through them. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the hard thing, even though it's not exciting, even though it's not the most, glorious moment of my life. Even though it actually is. It just doesn't have the king coming into town. It doesn't have a Jupiter feel to it that we want. Jupiter is, when in Leo, but Jupiter kind of is, Prince Ali, coming in with elephants screaming and blah, blah, blah. We want that right now in our life. But with Venus now in Libra, we need to find balance. We need to find tranquility through this. And Virgo is not a sign of Prince Ali, fabulous me, Ali Ababa. It shows up and kind of goes, hey, I went recycling and I recycled everything and here it is, and it's simpler and it gets the job done and it does the good for the earth and it does the good for the world and it does the good for the kingdom. But it doesn't come in all Jupiter like Sagittarius, like, I know everything. And especially at this point, you can't think that you know it all. Like, oh yeah, I know how it's all going to go. I know what's going to happen. I know how this is going to go. Or especially trying to think that you know things based off your past. Well, the past always went this way and I know how it's going to happen again. We could really fall victim to that because this is a moment where we are redefining what our future is and not getting stuck in those past patterns. That's actually what this little moment here is. That's how dramatic and overwhelming and why so rare this week is that you don't get caught up into actually thinking the past will keep repeating itself over and over and over. You actually, for the first time in your life, being able to create a new reality where you face that past, where you face those patterns, and you acknowledge them, but you move past them now, and you move into new ways. It's almost like in Monopoly when you pass go, and now you can collect $200, but that last lap, you got to pass Park Place, you got to pass Boardwalk, and there's a toll to pay here. Saturn squaring the sun in a solar eclipse. Sorry, there's a toll to pay, and the toll is work. The toll is doing what's right. The toll is doing the more responsible move in your life right now. Not running away, not doing the fantasy thing, not just taking a bunch of drugs and getting out of the situation. And that's hard. And with Venus and Libra, to find that tranquility, to find that peace, to find it in relationships, try and work things out in relationships, not just, egoically go, I'm just going to do this. We get very critical in Virgo too. Like, I want life to be this exact certain way, and if it doesn't turn out this way, it's just not going to work for me. Whether that's in a relationship, a job, or whatever, but this is a time to be flexible. Whenever you're dealing with mutable signs, you have to be flexible. You have to learn. With now Venus that entered Libra yesterday, well, I'm recording this on Tuesday, but on Monday, ever since Monday, you're having to now find compromise. And this is learning to find compromise, do the work, realize that this might not be the most exciting moment ever as far as crazy Alibaba, but at least the excitement actually is the life you're creating. Trust me, the fun's coming. Mars in Sagittarius is going to give you the strength to stay positive and to stay open and to go forward through all this, even though when you don't think so, there are options everywhere to get through all this right now. Always. Like me, I was able to go lay in my bed and put on a massaging bed. That option worked. There are options to everything through this. The sun will conjunct and oppose the nodes this week, which means that's on Sunday. I think that by this weekend, I think after the eclipses, this first eclipse, and we're going to be in between eclipses, and that sun's going to hit the node, I think by Sunday you really reach a point where you realize the life that you can create, the sun's going to be past Neptune, it's going to be past Saturn, it's going to be through the mess. And I think by Sunday you kind of get your balance back, you kind of get your energy back. And that's because, of course, the moon will pass Venus in a positive place of Libra, and then it comes into Scorpio, and we end with the moon in Scorpio. And there's stability in Scorpio, even though it's a watery sign, even though the moon is debilitated here, it is a fixed sign. It does help kind of go, I can make it through. I can find my deep inner passion. I can find my deep inner power that I didn't realize I had. And I think we end the week with, let's go. But we might come into this week, and you might be going through this week, and you might be watching this video, it doesn't matter who shared this to you or what day, and be freaking the fuck out. And there is nothing to freak out about. You have the options. Find the compromise. Don't run from it. Don't go into that past. Don't do your past patterns. Don't run into the no man's land. Don't go into emptiness, because the reason why Pisces is empty is it's the last sign, and literally we're out of goods. That's why we start farming in March 20th in Aries. That's why the ram comes and goes, finally, here's the sun returning to its equal day, equal night. We can start to create new product again. That's why Pisces is the empty zone. And don't go into emptiness. Don't go put yourself into an emptiness. Don't go create yourself your own prison. Don't go throw yourself into some drug bin. Don't go throw yourself into some place. Don't put yourself into a place where you lose it all. And really, that's all I have to say for this one. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a reality show, right? I think that's the best way to put it. It doesn't have to be a reality show. What this can be, though, is a positive show about how you have options, how when you do the work, and when you face your past and you face your old ways, and you can change them, and you can change to a new person, and that you can create a reality that is wholesome and full of abundance and full of life and full of positivity. You gotta remember, this solar eclipse is happening where Jupiter is. The North Node was on Jupiter. And even though Jupiter's not its favorite sign, we gotta see through the veil of what we think is empty, but it's really full. We need to see that the cup is way more full than we realize. And that Mercury retrograde is having a hard time because it's trying to figure out the littlest things and see all the things and see it in the exact way we want to, when really it's already there and your mind can't see it. This is a week to trust your emotion, to do the work, to go through with the plans, and to not bail out even when you think you should. If you want to win a free reading from me, booyah, baby. Share this video on Facebook, share it on Twitter even. I'll pick somebody off Twitter. Wherever you could share this video, I always pick a winner every week, and I send snail mail to you a reading. So share this video, and I would love to see you next week at Hope in the Desert. It's already here. 1-day, 3-day tickets available, leokingevents.com or pay-per-view. And of course, you can download my September horoscope, which I just did, so that'll be available, I think, by tonight. You should be able to download this when this video is out. So you can download my September horoscope where I go through the whole month. Remember, we got another eclipse coming up. Mercury retrograde is going to be retrograde during the next eclipse, and the eclipse season has begun. This is Fate Train time. Make sure you say rabbit, rabbit, and make sure you join me at the leokingapp.com to watch me every day. Thanks so much for all the support. We all got each other's support. Write comments below, help each other out. Let's send positivity through this one. I pray to God that it all goes wonderful for you and it brings you this life of greatness and that you're healed through all this. This is healing, even though sometimes we're afraid to go through it. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.